there was an altercation that happened.
Yeah.
And this was a viral video that was blasted all over the internet. You intervened in a situation where I think a teenager was reportedly trying to steal a shirt. But can you walk me through what happened that day?
Yeah, so that that did go quite viral. I had people from the other side of the world who I've worked with in the past who were saying that they'd spotted it before I'd even mentioned anything about it. I was outside a barbershop in Beaudesert just waiting to get a haircut. Barbershop hadn't opened yet and happened to be in the wrong place at the right time for a young fella to try and steal something. I think he was purposely trying to steal just to incite something. There's a few things I clocked as he was walking towards me that had me alert already. Stopped him from doing a bit of a snatch and grab, and then when he realized he couldn't get what he wanted, he stepped back and pulled out a replica pistol, made some threats. That didn't work. When that didn't work, he pulled out a knife. Thankfully, though, he didn't actually take a swing with that knife. Took off. Not long after that, once he was confronted and realized that he wasn't going to have an easy target.
Was it a real knife?
It was a real knife, yeah. Yeah, kitchen knife.
Yeah. How old do you reckon he must have been?
14.
Yeah.
Yeah, 13, 14. Big for his size, but young, very young.
Yeah. And what was your initial reaction when you saw him? What did you say to him?
It was hot. It was a very hot day. The footage is terrible because I was in yard work clothes. So they say, dress like you're going to be on camera. I should have done that day. And he was walking down the street in a full tracksuit. He had track pants on, big baggy jumper. As he came towards me down the street, he pulled his hood up over his head, pulled it tight around his face to conceal most of his face, which is a high alert situation already. My thought was maybe he's coming for my phone. I used 2 phones, one for work, one for personal, and was busy with both of them. Put those in my pocket thinking he's not snatching my phone, it's not coming from me. And I spotted that he kept fiddling with stuff on his sides on the way down, which with enough training through martial arts has always been maybe he's got a weapon. And I used to not want to be that hyper aware. Not everybody scratching their side has a weapon. And I don't want to be that worried person.
Yeah.
But in that situation, it was something where I spotted that and went, there's 3 or 4 things happening here that are quite obscure for right now. And he was looking at me as he walked towards me. So my first thought was he's coming to do something to me. He's coming to snatch my phone or coming to say something stupid. Teenagers want to mouth off randomly. And then he reached past me for the shirt. And that's when I shook it back out of his hand, which on the footage, you can just see the shirt itself gets pulled into frame. And then my hand yanks it back out of frame, leaving it on the racking. All of those sort of factors afterwards feel like I zoned in on this and I zoned in on this, but it's not even really a thought at that point. You just notice that's weird. I'm now cautious. I'm now uncomfortable. Now it's a problem. He immediately pulled his shirt up and pulled out the pistol. And the first few seconds there were focused purely on that, sheer terror, quite honestly. After a couple of seconds, or what felt like an eternity almost, but after a couple of seconds, I realized that the gun was not real. But by that point, I was already trying to stay within range of him because I need to be able to grab the weapon. I need to be able to get a hold of that. He realized shortly after that wasn't going to do anything. He already knew it was fake. And once he realized I knew that, he put that away and reached for the other side. And it's just out of shot of the camera, but you can see a moment where I take a step back. So I've been trying to keep that distance and then I take a step back because he reached for the other side and that's when the knife came out. And that was then the worry of, okay, now I don't need to be so close. I need to start keeping distance here.
Yes.
And
yeah. And it's pretty fucking terrifying when you see the footage. It doesn't matter if they're young, old, if they're carrying a weapon, it's pretty scary. All this martial arts training and everything that has happened up until that point, how quickly did you react? How much of that was instinctive?
Instantly.
Yeah.
I am hyper alert all the time, which that's not like a martial arts brag of like, I'm ready to go. I'm just aware of the things around me constantly. I don't like to walk around at home. I've got earbuds in a lot. I will not do that in public. like I said, I've got the two phones. I try not to be on them, focused on them the whole time. I get caught up in them. But if I'm standing in the street and there's people around me that I don't know, I don't like having these things available. And those are all these little things that we've learned over the years. And then the moment that threat became a much bigger threat, there wasn't a think of, oh, I need to stand here. I need to have my feet here. I need to be this distance. My mind was straight on grab the weapon, be close enough to grab the weapon. And then because he was moving backwards, I was moving forward to maintain because he had it down. And then when he brought it up, my thought was grab, hold, turn, everything we learned, but not full sentences of, oh, I need to be ready to do this, or I need to be ready to do that. It was just hyper focus on the situation itself.
Yeah.
So quite instinctively kicks in.
Yeah. And you said something to him about, that's not a real gun, mate. Or what did you say to him?
Pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because his first words were, I'm going to fucking kill you. And those words aren't ever fun to hear.
No.
But after the few seconds where I noticed, because it's quite a good replica, but very light in his hand, and it just didn't look quite metal.
Yeah.
And I haven't spent a lot of time around pistols, but I spent a lot of time around guns.
Yeah.
It just looked too fake. And the way he could swing it, move it, and there was no what looked like moving parts. Now, like after, these aren't thoughts I had at the time, of course, but all the things I could identify, and the police ask me all these questions as well, and they start going, well, how do you know that much about that?
Yeah.
But it's all these little things that I go, okay. And then when he made that threat, and then I realized that he couldn't do anything with that, then I took a step closer and encouraged him to pull the trigger because he can't do anything, which, if that was a real weapon, wouldn't have been my tactic at the time. But by that point, I'm in a street in a small town, but as it's still not a big town, I'm outside a store. The lady working at that shop walks with a cane. All of the people I can see in the street are over the age of 60. I'm now the person that's close enough to do something, so I'm going to maintain distance, keep his focus on me. There's even people in the footage you see walk past, completely oblivious. A lady walks out of the shop in the middle of it. An old man walks past us. People didn't pay that much attention to what's going on, so I just wanted his focus on me. So trying to antagonize him into staying focused on me was that goal there.
Yeah. It would have, and I mean, this only comes down to years and years of training to be able to differentiate between a real firearm and a fake one. You know, this, and it would have been difficult. I mean, the adrenaline's kicking in. But what happened after that? So once, because I could see that he was backing away, did you manage to get a hold of him and restrain him till the cops get there? Or what happened after that?
So when the knife came out, and that moment where I took a step back and he pulled that knife out, he was then taking quicker steps backwards. It's such a gray area with self-defense. Can I close the distance? What's in my favor? What's not? You know, if this kid's now trying to leave, and we saw this in the incident in the valley, right, with the fella that was trying to leave, and the much bigger opponent stepped forward. I mean, I only have third-hand information on what happened to that fella, but there's a lot of statements that he was charged with a lot less because it was self-defense. Yes, he was carrying a weapon, but he was clearly trying to leave at that point. I'm a 39-year-old man. I'm a trained martial artist. This is a kid at the end of the day, and a delinquent, and clearly a piece of shit. Let's not, butter any words here. That's a kid that's out to cause problems, but he's now trying to leave the problem. So I can't confidently step forward knowing that I'm still defending myself. If he was making threats to others, it might have been a different story. But he, by that point, had changed his attitude from aggressive to, oh shit, I've picked the wrong target, to trying to leave. So I followed him about 3 shops down, trying to keep that distance. He got maybe a car length between us, and that's when I stopped and went, off you go. And as soon as he ran around the corner, grabbed the phone, called the police. And they apprehended him, I think, 10 minutes later.
And what was he charged for?
So I haven't heard the full charges. The police told me what they were hoping to get him with when I had to go in and give a statement. By the time they got to him, he no longer had the knife or the gun. So the footage is actually everything they needed, and then ability to identify a person as well. myself and someone else actually picked him from lineups, which helped. But I believe he was done with juvenile menace with a weapon, as well as some other concealed weapons charges. I don't even know if it's gone to court yet. I haven't followed. I hope he's going on the right path now. I hope whatever the outcome is, he's learning something.
Yeah, it's a terrifying experience too, mate. And you and I both have been training in martial arts for a long time. And it's really scary that even you and I, we understand the level of violence and how quickly things can escalate very rapidly. And, you know, we've pressure tested with knives and we've done all sorts of things that we can do in a fight gym, but it's a different experience. When you're out there in the open, you see it for real, the ugliness of it. How did you manage to maintain composure and staying calm with all this years of experience that you've got?
Stoicism and assertiveness really have to come into play. I'm not going to beat around the bush and say that I wasn't 100-mile-an-hour heartbeat. Like the adrenaline dump. The only thing scarier was actually ringing my wife to explain it. The adrenaline dump is massive, but I'm not one to look like an easy target in that situation. He is already making a threat. He's already decided that I'm a target. Yeah. He's already decided. I don't feel he was trying to just steal to steal. I think he was trying to steal because he wanted to do something in front of an adult to show that he was tough. Yeah. And I think, like I said, right person, wrong time. Yeah. For me, wrong person, wrong time for him. The assertiveness came into, well, I need to control this situation. I need to control this person. I need to be the authoritative figure here to let this person know, no, I'm not an easy target. No, you don't always get to get away with this. No, you don't have control right now. So in the footage, it looks like I'm very calm, and I tried to be calm, and I tried to, I wasn't straight to violence. I wasn't straight to physical aggression, but I was. Skydiving feels the same. Yeah. That stepping into the cage right before the referee says fight feels the same. Yeah. It felt worse, or if it felt more confronting than any street fight I've ever been in. I've been in quite a few of those. It didn't feel like any of those because there was, for a moment, a much more significant threat.
Yes. Yeah. What have you come to learn about the reality of self-defense? And this is where I think a lot of coaches and instructors need to sort of talk to their students about it, is the pre-fight phase, what happens during, and then the post-fight phase.
100%.
It's dealing with that adrenaline dump, and also the social cues. Like Jeff Thompson, who's a famous martial arts practitioner in the UK, he talks about the pre-fight phase. It's managing your emotions, being able to stay calm and figure out what the best course of action is. But there's so many things that you have to take in consideration, and especially too, like there's been many incidences where we've heard about trained martial artists hit someone, they've gone down, they've hit their head on the concrete and died. You know, what do you think coaches need to do in schools? They need to educate their students about this stuff.
They do. Where with Geordie Leibson-Bain, training with him, one of the things he mentions frequently, and then has all us instructors mention as well, is the 3 battles. I'm not sure if he mentioned it when he was on, but the physical, the legal, and the moral battle.
He has.
You've got to win. Yeah. So physically, I can beat a 14-year-old. Can I beat a 14-year-old with a knife? Maybe I'll get cut. But I reckon I'm in for a chance to win that. Do I want to take that? And do I want to fight that physical battle? Legal, like we spoke about just before, I'm now closing distance on a person. Can I legally grab him and defend myself and consider it self-defense? And then the moral, if I break this kid's arm because I want him to let go of the knife, am I morally okay with that? In that situation, if you've got a weapon and I break your arm, that's your problem. Yeah. But not everybody has that in them. And this is where coaches can't just give this is how it is and this is what you should do. You have to understand that everyone's got their own moral compass. Everyone stands different in the legal system. Yeah. We're all under the same laws, but you and I defending ourselves compared to a 4'6" woman with no training defending herself, if she goes a little bit further, she's going to be in less legal trouble. She may still have to go to court. She may still have to fight that battle, but she's not going to get dragged over the coals by by a police prosecutor. The pre-fight stuff, just being aware, teaching people to be aware. You can't instantly just have your hands up ready to fight during every altercation. I'm a little bit of a starer when I know there's something going on, or if I think there's a problem in a room, I can quite often spot the person that's going to cause the problem, which can lead to more problems, especially if it's in a high masculinity, high alcohol environment, like a bar or something. But having the understanding of that situation and knowing that that's a problem, yes, I'm alert, yes, I'm aware, yes, I've just caused the start of the problem, or given someone who was looking for a problem a reason to start one. The skill sets around that, being able to walk up and go, hey, where do I know you from? I think my mum knows your mum. Stuff like those little things that you can do that most people aren't aware they can do. The problem's already started, but being the victim and stepping back and looking away and hiding may not always be the right answer.
Yeah. There's a famous video, I don't know if you've seen it, Harley, of a individual out of Eric Paulson's gym, and he talks about, he calls it verbal jiu-jitsu, and I think I was talking to Geordie about this on the podcast as well, is you can deflect someone's aggressive behavior and turn it into your favor.
Yeah.
So he basically used some analogies or some things that maybe people might say to you, one of them being, what the fuck's your problem? And you can just make shit up. You can say, oh, my wife died last night and my dog, my dog died too, and I'm just having a terrible time. I'm in here, and you can play on their emotions a little bit.
Yeah.
And in a sense, you're using self-defense, but verbally you're de-escalating it.
You reduce yourself as a viable target, not necessarily by making yourself look weak. If someone's already starting that threat, you don't want to, oh, sorry, man. There might be a situation where you have to say, hey, sorry, please don't do that. Please don't hurt me, whatever. Sure. But you can win that fight exactly like that by being able to talk to someone and recognize that, oh, that person's already coming my way. That person's already looking. What can I do to de-escalate before it escalates even further? And that knowledge most people don't have. It's a confidence thing, but it is something that can be taught. It is something that can be trained.
Yeah.
And then the post-fight, post-conflict issues, the adrenaline dump, like you mentioned before. Plenty of fighters who've fought in the cage or fought jits competitions and stuff like that have thrown up afterwards, not because of a cardio problem or anything else. It's the adrenaline dump.
Yeah.
When that happens, when there's no referees or there's a street altercation or anything like that, that come down afterwards, you have to be psychologically prepared for that step, for the minutes, the days, the weeks afterwards, where you go, okay, this just happened. How do I feel about it now? Fear's falling off a bike. You've got to get back on the bike. You've got to confidently go, okay, I made decisions. Were they the right ones? I'm alive.
Yeah.
Were they the best ones? Maybe, maybe not. Can I reevaluate? But you can't spiral and go down that everything could have gone wrong. And a lot of people who learn self-defense will one day, unfortunately, have to use it. And if they haven't been prepared for that, then they lose that moral battle afterwards, where they go, I just hurt someone really bad, or I didn't do enough, which is much worse. I didn't do enough to save myself and everything went wrong. I froze.
Yeah.
And if you've done that, then you've lost the pre-fight, the fight, and the post-fight.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that more clubs have to be aware of.
Yeah.
More instructors have to know so that they can teach those things and prepare people for more than just the little situation that they're going to be in.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I think there needs to be a lot of education, not just learning the tools on how to protect yourself in a fight, but also understanding the laws. There need to be some sort of education on that, and also, de-escalation tactics on how you can verbally de-escalate the situation. What do you think, instructors can do? And a lot of schools, unfortunately, they don't teach this stuff. They'll show you what to do if someone's trying to grab you and things like that. But I'm talking about, there's this level of the spectrum, it goes from 0 to 100, and you kind of have to decide, okay, is this the right time to hit? Is this time to evade? I need to assess and see if they're carrying a weapon. Are his friends nearby, multiple attackers? There's so many things that you have to take in consideration. But, what can instructors do to sort of really, train in a way that's safe in the dojo, but also giving their students the education to be able to utilize that in the real world.
Real world examples are always a good option because you can give it as a case study. Here's a situation that happened. Here's a few ways you can deal with that. Here's a few bits of knowledge you can have. We discussed in one of my classes just after the Bondi incident about all the different people that stepped up to help, and one of my students in that class was instantly silent because her first thought was that I was suggesting that everyone try to be the hero. Everyone try to do everything they've been taught to do in that situation. And I had to make it clear, like, no, you need to do what's right for you in that moment, and we need to train for that. Instructors can't just go down this rabbit hole of, I'm going to turn everybody into a weapon. The best things they can do is cater to their audience. If you run a gym that is only Muay Thai fighters, teach everyone to fight and just let them know, hey, maybe don't full power head kick somebody over a parking disagreement. I'm sure that if they were fighting for their life, you'd be okay with them being that violent and that assertive, but you can't just go down that one angle for that. You also need to, because there's so many things that can happen to so many different people, you need to almost be a counselor just a little bit. You shouldn't be the person that handles their mental state afterwards, but if one of your students is in a situation where something has gone wrong, that's the best time. You've missed other opportunities to prepare them for that, but that's the best time to grab them and go, hey, talk me through what happened. How can I help? And my coaches did this for this incident with me. They've done it for other students with other incidents. We go, hey, you went through this. Were you fully prepared for this? What else can we add right now? That's going to help that person too if they haven't been training long enough, that they've got a broad skill set for a broad range of situations where a coach can step in and go, let me fix that so that it doesn't happen again. And it gives that person the confidence where they can go, okay, well now, if they weren't handling it, now I know I'm prepared for next time, or I'm a little bit more confident that if it happens again, I've now got answers. So it's not even about what instructors can do beforehand, but what they can do after to help a person.
Yes.
You can't cover every aspect of every scenario. Broaden it, cover as much as you can, but help afterwards as well.
What is the best way to train for reality-based self-defense that you've come to learn with that, I guess, works? And we need to take in consideration all facets of fighting, not just striking, but also grappling. But how can you assimilate training in a dojo and how that would work in the street?
Pressure
test.
Pressure test it. Not just pressure test it. We've all rolled hard. We've all had sessions, open mat sessions, gradings, things like that, where we've sparred hard. We've all had scenarios where you turn up to training knowing I'm gonna get my ass kicked today. It's a big event. It's a big competition. It's a big grading. It's just a massive. You turn up and you see that all the black belts are here. Every roll is going to be hard. There's no white belts to crush today.
Yeah.
Not just that pressure testing, but obscure pressure testing. Roll someone who's yelling at you. If your goal is self-defense, roll someone who is screaming in your face while you're doing it. That suddenly it's no longer just jiu-jitsu. It's can I remember to deal with this while a random stress has been added? Roll with a weapon nearby. If you're doing striking, have a third person step in and shove every now and then.
Yeah.
We did some training a few weeks ago in a Muay Thai class. Most of the students that I had that night weren't fighters and probably won't ever actively be professional fighters. Some of them will reach amateur points. Some of them will do our in-house tournaments. Some of them are just there for fitness. So we went, okay, well, you can all hit pads. You can all spar. Can you spar while someone's standing in the way? For the fighters, this is what it's like when you're trying to fight and the referee's not quick enough to get out of the way. For others, this is what it's like when you're trying to fight and some third party is trying to prevent it from happening, which might be helpful, might be a hindrance. You've got to add these pressure tests to it, especially if self-defense is the main consideration, because even if you spar hard and roll hard, that pressure's no longer there at a high level. You're used to it. Those are hard things. They're what you're used to. Where's the fear? Where's the stress?
Yeah.
Add those somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll never forget I was rolling with Geordie. And probably like maybe 3 or 4 minutes in, we're going at it, and he pulls out a knife. and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, I've got a 3rd degree BJJ black belt trying to stab me as well as submit me.
Yeah.
But I had to react, you know, so, and it was really good. I liked that he did that because it just made you think, okay, yes, sometimes we do get carried away in class, that we do recognize in a grappling situation that it's fun. It's fun to do collar chokes and, you know, chokes and, you know, whatever. But you need to understand that in a real fight, these things can happen. So it was a really good learning experience, and think, shit, that was really good.
How much did you forget as soon as you first saw it?
Goes all out the fucking window.
Yeah. I had an altercation. I was only a blue belt at the time. And I had, was I even blue belt? It was quite early in my Jits career. I'd done a fair bit of martial arts before then as well, but it was a guy that I didn't want to fight. And so now having some grappling, I thought I'll throw him, I'll pin him down, and was doing what I considered at the time really cool jiu-jitsu. But we were on gravel, and I didn't get hit. I managed to subdue him. I managed to calm the situation down. I managed to feel like I was cool because I was this lower range jiu-jitsu person using it in a street fight. 3 weeks for my knees to heal, the skin torn off it. And then afterwards you go, I really wasn't ready to kneel on a floor that wasn't padded. Yeah. So all this cool stuff I've learned, suddenly there's no padding, there's no safety for me. Suddenly it was, and even in the time while the adrenaline's kicking in and you're stressing about what you're doing, I'm going, ow, like thinking about the rocks that are in my knees, and it's just a shit time. Yeah. And so you have to, every now and then, I'm not suggesting people go wrestle on gravel, but make it uncomfortable. Add something that's not part of the sport. Yeah. Stress yourself. Yeah.
Or even too, like, I don't know, it depends on, you know, insurance and things like that, but I don't know if the school's going to allow it, but even get them to just temporarily for a few seconds grapple on the road, you know? Yeah. You know, just temporarily, just see how you go.
Have a light roll on a hard floor and feel how much it makes a difference. Yeah. You can't put your head back. You can't skip your hips easily without pain. If you're committed, you're going to move and you'll scratch stuff up, and that's part of it. Yeah. I was taught once that if someone grabs your shirt, forget about it. Your shirt doesn't matter. Don't forget that they've grabbed it. Forget about trying to save your shirt. It's already part of the fight. It's already torn. Yeah. Sometimes that's your skin. Sometimes you have to be prepared that your break fall's not on a soft floor anymore. Yeah. Yeah. You have to know, if I go to the ground here, I'm going to hit the ground hard. It's going to hurt. We're on carpet. We're on concrete. The situation's changed to what I'm used to. But it doesn't hurt to practice those things as well. You see guys who, I saw a video of a bunch of guys that were doing some casual clothing, rolling, jeans, T-shirts, jackets. How does that translate to what they do in jits? Perfectly. But suddenly, can you get a lasso guard with a pair of tight jeans on?
That's right.
Can you do the things you used to wearing what you always wear? Yeah. Because it's easy in a pair of MMA shorts and a rashi. Yes. It's easy with a gi on. Yeah. But those minor tweaks you can do if you genuinely are doing something for that self-defense. And like you said, insurance has got to play into it. If you're running a gym, don't go, hey, today we're wrestling on the gravel, and realize your insurance didn't cover outside. Yeah. But it helps. Yes. Yeah. A lot of people too want to know, what is the best martial art for self-defense? What do you think? I've been heard to say before that I love jiu-jitsu. I don't like most jiu-jitsu people. I'll cop some flack for that. And I love them. Everyone I've met, I think, is fantastic. But I don't like the mindset of the jiu-jitsu guys who go, this is the best self-defense. I don't like the Muay Thai guys who go, oh, I'd outstrike anybody. I don't like the boxers that go, well, I can punch him a Golden Gloves boxer. So there's heaps of other people. I always treat it like gambling. If I'm going into something where I don't know the odds, I'm going to assume that the house is going to win. I don't go and start a fight because my luck is I'll pick a Golden Gloves boxer. That's right. Whose striking is far better than mine. your best self-defense is one that is willing to adapt and learn, and call it favoritism, but Geordie's the Black Dragon Kai modern martial arts system, I think it's the best of the ones I know.
Yes.
That's not the best in the world. It might be. I don't know them all yet. It's the best out of the ones I know because I've been doing it for 17 years and the curriculum's changed multiple times.
Yeah.
Guys like Geordie who are out learning new styles constantly.
Yes.
He gets us instructors to go to seminars, and he gets the fighters to go out and test things in competition. And then we come back and we go, hey, that worked really well. That didn't work. Or somebody did this to me. Can we add that to our curriculum? And we build it. So the best style you can learn is someone who's not caught in tradition and someone who's not stuck in their ways of going, this is the best thing.
Yeah.
If you see a women's self-defense jiu-jitsu sign in a gym and you go into that class and it's just a regular jiu-jitsu class, but it's only ladies, it's not self-defense. If they're not discussing self-defense, then that's not the style for it. If you want a quick, rapid succession to looking to defend yourself, it's whatever you can get into and feel confident. And it's whatever gives you the biggest confidence boost as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid to go, maybe I've picked the wrong one.
Yeah.
There's not one style which is a be-all, end-all self-defense.
Yeah.
And people need to be aware of that and stop marketing as that. Yes, it's great. Every kid should go and learn Taekwondo. Every kid should go and learn karate. Every kid should go and learn jiu-jitsu. Taekwondo has lost its way. That you can get a black belt Taekwondo at 12 years old and not have had to hit anybody. Maybe that's not good for self-defense. You can learn Taekwondo from one of the old school guys and learn to kick someone in the leg and make them limp for a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to, there's not a single style that is the best for self-defense.
Yeah.
There's instructors who understand what matters and are changing and catering both on what they learn and add and what is currently necessary in society.
Yeah.
We're not a knife crime heavy country yet. We, compared to the UK, I think in our curriculum, we teach knife defense. I think it'd be a lot lower in the curriculum if we were in the UK.
Yeah.
Because it would be necessary.
Yes.
Adaptable styles are the ones that you should be looking for if you're looking for self-defense.
Yeah. And Bruce Lee said too, Harley, he said, absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, and add what essentially is your own. And I think that's why Geordie is pretty much separating himself from every other school, is because he's covering all facets of fighting. You need to learn grappling. You need to learn wall defense. You need to learn how to get back to your feet quickly. You need to understand striking. You need to understand when there's a weapon involved, multiple attackers. Like, he's covering so much.
Yeah.
And he's always changing and adapting.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so impressive what he's done for Black Dragon Kai, is because when I'm in there, right, when I'm down at a grappling camp, I'm in there with people that have been world champions in Muay Thai. They've done Judo competitions. You've got wrestling. You've got all sorts of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts in there, multiple black belts in different systems. So it's really impressive to see that he separated himself from all the other schools where a lot of other instructors are just going to get left behind. Yeah. Yeah, and that's really impressive. What have you come to learn about training with Geordie and how his curriculum is? Because I think it's probably the best I've ever seen.
Yeah. I'm loyal. I'm a massive fan of it.
Yeah.
I'm also aware of the other clubs that are doing similar, and there is a few guys out there. I don't want to, promote and advertise everybody, but Ian Bronson at Martial Science Academies, he's got his own system. He's not by any means a traditional school.
Yeah.
Phenomenal Muay Thai fighters. The guys that have come out of that gym and the girls, phenomenal Muay Thai fighters. But his self-defense based style is quite similar. Not as many belts under him as Geordie has, but there's another guy that went, hey, the traditional system's not working. How can we adapt? What I like about Geordie is I've got to see what we learned 17 years ago and what we're learning now, and then compare that to not just why we're learning something different. Did he learn something cool? Or are we in need of something different? So the Army Combatives program, for example, when he joined in with that and he let us know that he was doing that and said, do you want to come help coach, help referee competitions? That's the coolest competition you'll ever see as well.
It's awesome, isn't
like
it?
a Street Fighter episode, like a stage of just tanks and in the
Yeah.
background. But those guys, when you learn the point system so that you can referee that, he has built and catered a system alongside the Australian Army with those guys who've said, hey, mount doesn't mean anything to us. It's useless in our circumstances. In our world, that doesn't matter. And a guy like Geordie doesn't go, but this is what I teach, this is what you need. He goes, okay, well then that's something we need to highlight that isn't important for them. A footlock doesn't mean anything to a soldier because they can reach for a weapon.
That's right.
They can limp out of there. A broken arm an arm bar in their tournaments doesn't finish a match. It's 1 point. If you can get 2 arm bars, you'll win your match. But you have to choke them out. You have to do more. Though that adaptation, not just to what he knows and what we know, but to who are we teaching, what are we teaching, why are we teaching it? That change there and being able to grow to the audience as well as to what we know has made a massive difference over the years.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think what he's done is incredible. It's impressive. And his system is just fantastic because what system or what school where you can grade in multiple systems, like you can grade in judo, you can grade in his modern martial arts system, you can grade in BJJ. He's also introduced Jissen Budo, which is kind of like Kudo.
Yeah.
You can grade in that. He's got wrestling in there. He's got Muay Thai you can grade in. I haven't really seen any school or any club that you can grade in multiple systems. And the byproduct of it is everyone is forced to level up.
Yeah.
Like you and I have black belts in multiple styles, but you have to adapt because everyone's evolving. Otherwise you're going to get left behind. You have to level up.
He's built a culture of being okay with saying you don't know the answer to something too. So if to the kids we teach, we look like superheroes. To the adults we teach, we look like an answer to a problem. They'll come in and ask us something, and I don't believe we have a single instructor that if they don't confidently know the correct answer or a good answer to a problem, we'll go, hey, I don't know. Let me go ask that. And then we'll go up and we'll speak to Jess. If it's striking, I'll speak to Sean. If it's anything MMA related, Dan White's such a phenomenal knowledge, just a ball of wisdom.
Yeah.
And I can ask the right people and then go back to the person and go, hey, here's a good answer for that. Or what can we research? We're lucky enough to have a guy like Brandon Bell who comes in and trains with us. And he said to me 14 years ago that his answer to grapplers in MMA was he just doesn't let them do it, which made no sense at the start. And then you learn from him and you watch how he moves and how he plays, and he shuts everything down early.
Yeah.
How do we adapt? Or how do we fix what we don't know, and how do we adapt to that and change? It's been a weird thing too, because where I thought my martial arts career going hasn't stayed the same trajectory either, because I've had opportunities to learn other things and modify my why as well. It's just been really, really interesting.
Yeah. What do you think of Krav Maga?
Already upset the Jiu-Jitsu people. No, so Krav Maga is a style that's entirely dependent on the instructor that's teaching it. You can advertise that you've got Krav Maga and that it is exactly how the Israeli Defense Force teaches it. Excellent. Do any of your students know how to de-escalate a situation? Do any of your students know how to stop a situation without killing somebody or stopping something? That's fantastic if that's the answer you need. And it's a legitimate, dangerous style. Is it great for self-defense? That's going to come down to the instructor. Yeah. There's plenty of instructors out there. I think we don't have too many Krav Maga schools in Southeast Queensland, but out of those that I'm aware of, I know that there's a few instructors who are very, this is the way we do it, and we are the destroyers of limbs, and we are loyal to the system. And then you've got the guys who go, hey, maybe teenagers don't need to know how to break a neck. Maybe teenagers need to know how to put someone in a sleeper hold. Maybe teenagers need to be aware that what you're learning is incredibly dangerous. So here's a safe option.
Yeah.
So Krav Maga as a style is, I think it's lost its buzzword. When it first came out, everyone went, we should all go learn that. Everyone started this, it's the best, we're going to that. But those who've adapted it for Australian conditions are the ones who will succeed with it as a style. And that's where, if you can find an instructor that's doing that, that's a good school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem I have with martial arts today, Harley, is you still have people say that their style's the best, this style's the best. You know, there's always this conflicting information, and we got to see it firsthand. I mean, that when the Gracies came in and opened up the doorway for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it just shocked the martial arts on its head.
Yeah.
But see, now everyone's trained in Jiu-Jitsu, everyone's training in boxing, everyone's training in Muay Thai. You need to be able to sort of adapt and learn from different systems and then mold that into your own. But see, the thing that's really annoying when it comes to self-defense, like people always push shit on Jiu-Jitsu, and I think Jiu-Jitsu is an amazing art, but I think there is a time and a place when you would use Jiu-Jitsu, and there's a time and a place when you wouldn't. Now, if you're talking about multiple attackers, fuck no, you wouldn't go to the ground. But see, the thing, yeah, exactly, it's common sense. But see, depending on the scenario, an elevator, perfect example. You're probably going to grapple in an elevator in that confined space. What happens if the fight does go to the ground? Okay, if you land, hypothetically, someone's landing on top of you in the mount, then Jiu-Jitsu comes into play. And also going back, you know, understanding violence. A perfect scenario might be you're at a barbecue and your drunk relative's getting a little bit out of hand. You don't want to be doing a 50-move kata on his head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can use Jiu-Jitsu to control him and restrain him. If you work in corrections, police, law enforcement, Jiu-Jitsu is great. But I think there needs to be some talk about no sort of style fits all. I think you need to learn a little bit of everything, don't you?
Have some, the kind way we can say it is that experts in any one style need to have some humility. Where did that go? Where's that gone? The main way to say it is some of them genuinely need to pull their head in. If your goal as an instructor is to teach one specific style and claim it is the best thing for every circumstance, you're so lost from your original cause. That's exactly right. That for corrections, grappling should be known. We've got students who've entered the police force. We've met police officers. We've met paramedics who've told us what they get to learn. High-ranking jiu-jitsu people who've stepped in the police force have been told, hey, you can't do that. You can't. There's now a rule set that doesn't allow them to put someone in an armbar. Why? Because it might break the person's arm. They're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Are they supposed to restrain the person and hold them? Yes, they are. Are they supposed to break a limb? No, they're not. The paramedics get told to curl up in a ball and hide. Wear the shots and weather the storm and wait for help. This is stupid advice. So, I mean, that's not on any style's fault. That's on a system's fault. But if you think you have the answer to that and your answer is one specific style, you aren't advertising yourself correctly. You're not offering the right services. Jiu-Jitsu, if you're high enough level that you don't have to think about what you're doing in a grapple and you know, okay, well, I know how to submit somebody. Can I do it standing? Do I have to go to the ground? Jiu-Jitsu is not just ground sport. If I can, okay, can I hip throw somebody, hit him with an ogoshi, land on the ground, hold them in katsugatami, pin them and hold them there till help comes, or I get kicked in the head. Can I modify that and go, okay, well, can I throw them and stay standing? Can I use everything I've learned and pick apart the bits that help me so that I can stay on my feet? Is this now usable where I need it? Can I avoid that whole, I have to do the thing I learned. I have to do a kata to defend myself. I think kata's fantastic. I think it has its place. You have to be able to adapt bits of that into needing a solution.
One of the things that I really found impressive, and especially with army combatives, is make use of any available weapons. I think that's great because in a situation where you might be dealing with multiple attackers, but if you have your ambience, you've got a chair, you've got a brick, you can pick that up, is making use of any available weapons. what do you think, or what's your thoughts? I play around with various chokes on how you can utilize that in hoodie, jumpers and jackets. And when I was teaching out at Ipswich and Unleashed, what we do is in winter months, the guys would bring in jumpers and jackets and things like that, and we'd roll in that. And what I learned about the hoodie is it's worse than the gi. That thing acts like a hangman's noose, but see, it's a weapon. You're making use against any available weapons. Now, would you go for a hoodie choke as opposed to just a rear naked choke? But I mean, if you're in a situation where it's there and you happen to grab the hoodie, oh fuck, I can do a choke from here.
If your favorite choke's a baseball bat choke,
yeah,
it works on a jacket, it works on a hoodie, it works anywhere. It works on a ponytail. It works. So many things you can grab. Any object you can be holding can be used for a baseball bat choke. You can adapt and modify anything you've learnt if you understand enough about the movement to go, it's not that I'm holding a gi. It's not that I'm holding a jiu-jitsu gi that makes that work. It's that my hands are here and they're doing this movement or whatever it is that you're modifying and applying. And I think that's a great idea, training in a jumper and teaching people, even a t-shirt, knowing that if I try and lapel choke you with a t-shirt, it's going to rip. I'm not going to get a grip. But if you've tackled me and I'm underneath you and I can reach over and pull your whole shirt up and bunch it up, suddenly I have a thick anchor point that I can hold to choke.
Yeah.
But I watched that in a video years and years ago and it clicked and I was like, because before that my thought was, well, t-shirt's just going to rip. Suddenly I go, oh, okay, we can use that.
Yeah.
I can modify that. I can use the weapons around me.
Yeah.
What are the weapons around me? Are they chairs? Are they bricks? Are they a knife nearby? Are they a piece of clothing? Can I get my belt off in time to use it? Can I use it to swing at people? Can I use it to choke people? Can I use it to wrap around a leg and pick a leg up to throw someone? How many extra steps have I just created for myself? Is it viable? I did a style when I was in high school called Salat, which was a backyard gym with an old Indonesian man who taught his kids and maybe 4 other kids, and he used to come out with paintbrushes and stuff and get us to try and stab each other with things. And then one day he said, hey, bring something in. So one of us brought a skateboard, one of us brought a scooter. And then he showed us all the different ways, looking at those. This is a guy who was in his late 60s who, I mean, I only did probably 4 months with him, but having him show us, here's how you can hold this and here's a weapon that it looks like and here's how I can move it. Here's how I can block with it. Here's how I can hit with it. There's a guy that understood adaptive weapons. At an extreme level, which was really eye-opening to see. Yeah. It's something people should be aware of.
Yeah, and I guess it really just depends on where you live in the world. Like if you're living in somewhere that's quite cold, Russia or, you know, Iceland, or just in the winter months overseas in Europe, most people are going to be rugged up. And this is another thing I think why judo is amazing. Judo, like if you grab someone in a jacket and you throw them onto the concrete, it's just absolutely devastating. But see, it's making use of any available weapons.
Yeah.
You know, so would you do an uchimata with the clothes or would you have a no-gi variation? I mean, it really just depends, doesn't it? Like if the guy's wearing a jacket, you could just do your uchimata, you know,
with enough training in both gi and no gi. I don't think you're gonna actively think about it, but you'll get a grip. Yeah. You'll grab something. You'll grab a collar tie, you'll grab a piece of clothing, you'll grab something. And that's repetition comes into it. Yeah. How many similar you don't have to go out and train against a leather jacket, a zip up hoodie, a regular hoodie. You just have to practice more than just, okay, I've got my good grips, can I start? Yeah. And start slapping and grabbing and seeing if you can throw someone. Yeah. And try that and see what works and what doesn't. Yeah. But environment's a massive thing. No one's wearing a shirt at the beach.
That's right.
So if you've only done gi, jiu-jitsu, and you've got no takedown knowledge and you only know a couple of throws that involve holding the gi, can you adapt that? Can you adjust that? Unfortunately, not everybody's going to be 10 years in before their first altercation occurs. Yeah. But the sooner you can get a little bit of variety, the sooner you can adapt to the open world in the place you live.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you need to train in all areas. And we're talking about fighting it's no different from stand-up. If you're stepping into MMA, you'll need to learn boxing, you'll need to learn your Muay Thai, you'll need to learn takedown. It's covering all areas of fighting, but you're right. I 100% think that, yeah, if you're at the beach, it's going to be a different scenario as opposed to if you're grappling someone in a colder climate, in Russia or something when they're rugged up. But the thing I really think is quite interesting with some of the things that you can do in the gi, you can adapt for the street, especially too, like, we play around with the hoodie jumpers and jackets. That thing can also act like as a bit of a, not just a choking mechanism, but also you can control their posture with it really well too. Another thing also is, you can just bunch this thing up and pull it over their head. Now they can't see. It's just things like that, but it's adapting to the scenario and making use of any available weapons.
It's if you've ever been grabbed by a seasoned judo practitioner, Sensei Steve, Geordie's judo coach, he's not a big dude. He's not a big guy. But if he just walks up and holds your lapel, and you don't see it at first when it's other people, but everyone sort of goes, oh, and stands a little bit crooked. And then he comes up to demonstrate on you, and you're instantly aware, oh, he's got control of my grip. Whole posture. Yeah. He's controlling where I face. He's controlling where I lean. Just his grip alone, because he's done so much of it, 50-something years of judo. He's so well-versed in that control that the moment his hand is on you, you're controlled. Everything about you is controlled by him. You're fighting for your life. Yeah. It's even when he's demonstrating and you're standing there, you feel like you're fighting just to maintain your own right to stand. Yeah. And so if people are learning more than just hold here, sweep here, and understanding that control and that movement. And I make jokes a lot when I'm teaching, if I do any sort of movement where I'm like, okay, I'll do a snap down. Okay, well, if I do a snap down, but now I pull the person's head this way and I can turn them, I can stand them back up and face them the other way. Yeah. And then I'll make the joke that this is why Mr. Miyagi had Daniel-san doing this. Yeah. People have a laugh. If I go, hey, we're going out to wax a car for an hour first, everyone's going to go, this is a stupid lesson. But if I can make that reference to, it's just a circular movement. Now I can control a person. Now I've got the right spot on their uniform or their outfit to turn them. Suddenly I've got not just control for a submission or control for a pin. I've got control to shift somebody and move them where I want them. Yeah. And it's a really fun thing to learn when you head control as well, even just steering someone's chin away and knowing that will force them to turn. If you've got enough strength to do so, how can I spin somebody around or move them and take everything away from them?
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit like, because you mentioned army combatives. And if you think about the weight vest that they wear in the army, you can also do a lot of chokes on that. Like you can actually do a cross collar choke from the back. Yep. I think Geordie was demonstrating, it might have been Paul Cale, but you can do a cross collar choke from the back, and that's only possible from using the vest. Yeah.
You can, those are, watching those guys compete against each other, that's the biggest workout you'll get as a referee is an army combatives thing, because those guys are faster than anyone in any other tournament because they're training for such a different purpose.
That's right.
And watching how fast these guys will shoot on each other and slam each other into the side of the cage, and then suddenly they'll grab in a spot we don't grab in anything we train martial arts wise, either side of the sleeves of the plate vest. They can grab the person there and just rip them and shift, because those things are designed to stay on you under any circumstance. Yeah. And they've figured out, okay, well, if I want you to move, I'll just move your plate vest and you'll come with it. And these guys are throwing each other around by them and enjoying both sides of it, enjoy it so much when you watch them do it. But suddenly they're in a uniform and the weapons around them are what the person's wearing, which is designed to last. It's designed to protect. And they've gone, well, how can I use that against you? I can grab the drag cord on the back of it, which is built to pull an injured soldier or wounded soldier out. It's a long piece of thread, piece of cord that pulls out with a handle on it. And those guys have gone, there's a handle behind their neck. Yeah. I can rip them to the floor with it. I can pull it and wrap it around a neck. I can fight with these things, these extra weapons. And it's so impressive to watch even the bits where, and there's so much to that curriculum I don't know at all. not even close. But I've been there to see some of the guys figure something out and go, oh, I can just do this. And it's never while they're fiddling and playing and practicing or drilling. It's mid-match where one of them goes, I watched one grab the bottom of a plate vest and the top of the plate vest. And there was a moment there where he tried for a turning throw, like a hip throw, but couldn't get the leverage.
Yeah.
Which is good because I thought he was about to lift this guy up and put him onto his head, spike him onto his head. But I watched him quickly test that and then let go of it and go, that doesn't work. That's not an option. And I don't think that fella had active thought, let me try this. I'm going to try this. That worked. But you can see the process of, I've got to pull something, what's working, what's not working.
Yeah. And once you get a hold of that plate vest, it's very difficult to break that grip.
Yeah.
It's super difficult.
Yeah. They're full of little handles and things like that. I don't think that, maybe it's a design flaw. I don't know. That's for much more intelligent people than me who wear them. But getting to be a fly on the wall for that journey as they learn what does and doesn't work about these. What can I do with my own? Can I go around your neck and grab my own and pull tight? Suddenly I don't need this. I don't need this. I've got an anchor point. I don't have a lapel.
Yeah.
I can't choke you with my own lapel, but can I reach for something and grab my own strap from the plate vest or a piece of the plate vest as an anchor point? And it's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, it really is. What have you come to learn about wall grappling? Because you fought in the cage before, and in jiu-jitsu, we're so used to hip escaping and shrimping and getting out of bad positions. But what happens if you're pinned up against the wall? What are the key strategies that you've come to learn about the wall?
As far as grappling against a wall, striking against a wall is a whole problem. Striking against a wall is ring craft. It's ring control. It's cage control. It's evasive movement. Grappling against a wall is. I played a lot with it, and so did a lot of the other coaches that we train with, to work on what feels right, what doesn't feel right when you're still standing. What's a sprawl look like if someone shoots on you? It's not feet back and feet out and hips forward. It's just feet wide, turn your hips slightly. You can sprawl against the cage. Watch any of Showtime's fights, and his cage sprawling is phenomenal. It completely blocks most things.
It is.
We went, okay, well, we can't sprawl, but that means that if you're a foot away from the cage and someone shoots on you and they create that clinch, what do we need to do to change that? Not just the entry or the during that clinch moment. What works? Where are my controls? Having my underhooks. Gavin Haynes, another good one for his underhook knowledge. If he does this and you're trying to hold him on the cage, you don't get to hold him anymore. He just digs and moves and goes to where he wants to, gets underneath. The moment that came undone, there's two big ones that I'm aware of. One is when we push off the cage. If we're grappling against the cage and I find an opportunity to turn you, but my turn doesn't put you back on the cage, we need to stop fighting like we're on the cage, and we need to go back to like a regular Muay Thai clinch or a wrestling style clinch. And a mistake a lot of amateur MMA fighters are making is that they've got that chest to chest fighting for a leg against each other's arms, tangled with the arms. Because it's against the cage, you can be like this, that when you step away from it, suddenly you're in a weird stance. You should have identified that the wall's no longer there, the cage is no longer there, change what you're doing. And the other thing is how well a standing guillotine works if your back's on the cage. A standing guillotine is a very effective choke against someone who doesn't know how to grapple. It's useless against somebody that does know how to grapple, and it's very hard to pull off if your back is against a cage. There's a lot of modified versions that are working for people now, but when someone goes for a regular guillotine, for them to get a good finish on that, they either have to have a perfect grip, massive arms, or their legs are in their opponent, and suddenly they're sat against the cage.
Is that when you're doing the guillotine, but
you've got your back against the cage, they've shot wrong, you think there's an opportunity here, I'm not going to pummel, I'm going to fight for that guillotine, and I'm going to stand here. There's no room to crank. There's no any movement you do to actually tighten your gilly is going to buckle you in a weird way that's going to allow the person to take you down. Almost every standing gilly against a cage I'm not going to talk about professional MMA because those guys have refined. The ones who do it know what they're doing and they're nailing it. The failed ones from professional and most of the ones from amateur, when they're applying it wrong, the moment they try and change their posture to sort of break that gilly in, they can be shifted to the ground. Now they're not just on the floor. They're on the floor and the cage in that little shitty corner where everything sucks. Everything is suddenly a nightmare for you. You don't have your guillotine anymore. You're jammed up. If you let go of the person's head, they're sitting on you or they're sitting in your guard and just throwing punches.
Yeah.
So understanding the risks and the barriers, I guess, of cage grappling has been a big change for our guys, my students, myself, and going, okay, that went wrong. I'm no longer there. What version of grappling do I need to go to? Because it's an instant change.
Yeah. How important is wall grappling for self-defense?
Big.
Yeah.
Big, very big.
Yeah.
If you're in a crowded room and you're not sure who's on your side, a wall isn't necessarily a hindrance. It's your back covered. It's not an exit. It's not you getting out of the room. It's not you getting to safety, but I don't have to worry. If you've got 3 friends with you and you're causing a problem, I can see all 3 of you. Being cornered isn't a great idea, but at least I know no one's behind me.
Yeah.
As far as grappling goes, know the wall you're on. No, don't grapple against a glass window or a glass door. Pretty big. And again, there's situations that you should be aware of. How can you be pushed against one? If it's self-defense, the person's probably not shooting on you. They're probably shoving you. Are they pushing and holding? Are they pinning you with their hands? Are they shoving and slamming you so that you bounce off the wall? Have you practiced bouncing off a wall straight into a stance or bouncing off a wall and stepping because the person didn't try and pin you? If they do try and pin you, how well can you move against the wall? What blocks and control points can you attack on the person to get yourself out of that pin, especially if they've got you by the neck or the throat? If they're holding you, what can I reach? What can I hit? Kick in the groin if I can reach that. The old hit the elbows might work. If they've got big arms, probably won't work. If their arms are completely straight and locked out and you're quite strong yourself, it might. But there's a move that is so limited to my circumstances, your circumstances, all being in the right conditions. You need to really not treat self-defense wall grappling as MMA grappling. MMA grappling is a fantastic thing to know if you're a cage fighter and as a big improvement to your self-defense. But there's so many other things that suddenly, because what MMA fighter have you seen hold someone against the cage with one hand with a fist up?
No.
It doesn't happen.
No.
How much more likely is that in a self-defense situation? Significantly higher.
Yeah.
So suddenly I'm not an MMA fighter fighting an MMA fighter. I'm a victim, or I'm the person defending themselves against a person who's doing something that doesn't happen inside the sport.
Yeah.
And so wall grappling, same as seated grappling, same as anything like that, needs to be adapted for those.
Yeah. And you should too. You should definitely implement that into the curriculum.
Yeah.
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 I think it's very important. Yeah.
Know your audience, really.
Yeah.
If you are teaching a room full of people, you look around and you go, okay, well, he's currently an MMA fighter. He's a former MMA fighter. These 3 young people here, that girl's going to be a professional fighter one day. She's going to be fantastic. Stick to the MMA stuff.
Yeah.
Even in an MMA class, though, if I'm teaching an MMA class and I've got high school students, I go, well, okay, here's something that can happen that's not necessarily MMA. And it won't be a whole lesson on it. It'll be oh, hey, we're in this position. By the way, if there's no referee here and they're trying to do this to me, here's something I can do to get out of this that's not within the rules of MMA. And make it clear that it's not within the rules.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to practice that, practice a little bit, but let's make sure that we know the right answer for the actual tournament.
Yeah. For a parent that might be listening, what do you think is the best martial art they should get their kids into? Where should they start?
That's a hard call. I don't think. I think what's missing in society is role models outside of your own family, outside of your own house.
I agree.
As a kid, I did boxing, but the coach was my stepfather. And I learnt to box. He's a phenomenal boxer. I learnt to box. I can throw hands quite well.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a good student there because he was my stepfather. And all the respect in the world I had for that man. He's an incredible, incredible person to learn from. But I was the wrong kid to learn from him. All the other kids learned fantastically from him, but I didn't because he's at home telling me what to do. Why is it different? And it was right in those years where I didn't necessarily listen to the person above me. If you're getting your kids into a martial arts, you need to find one that encourages the kids to be loud, encourages the kids to be silent when they need to, encourages the kids to have just a moment of boisterous personality about them. I think any of the traditional styles, this is where they come into play. Should you get your kids into any of the traditional karates? Yeah, sure. Get them into that. If you live in an area and you've got the choice between a taekwondo school and a karate school and a jits school, I think jits is probably the right answer there. But go and see what the kids' classes are like. If you walk in and the kids are running amok, that's not the place. So check out the karate school. If you go to the karate school and those kids are standing, they're strong, they're disciplined, and then you watch, those kids know what they're doing. And when they leave, they walk out with a smile on their face. That's the school to pick over the jits.
Yeah.
And I think teach your kids how to grapple so they don't have to hit someone is a good idea. I didn't learn that way as a kid. I learned all striking stuff first.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what jiu-jitsu was in my first lesson, and I was an adult. You really need to go and speak to other parents in the area and go, where are your kids happy? What made them confident? What made them feel safe? And that's where you'll find the best schools.
Yeah.
You can have 100 schools that teach the same system, same style. I don't think there's one correct style choice.
I totally agree. I think it's trying different schools, but you made a good point too, is finding a good role model.
Yeah.
Someone that's, I guess, good with kids, but also teaches them discipline. They teach them respect. Obviously, they have the skill sets and the knowledge to be able to actually teach the kids, defensive tactics and things like that. Jiu-Jitsu is a great martial art for kids because, it's not advisable for another child to hit another child in the playground. But I think you mentioned a good point about finding a school that has a good coach, a good role model. Yeah. Why do you feel that's lacking today?
When I was a kid, I was smart mouth delinquent's probably the best way to put it. I was a good kid. I wasn't a straight up criminal, but I was the one they used to constantly send to detention. The kid that couldn't sit next to another kid in class because I wouldn't shut up. Teachers would say to me, if they're being nice, they go, we just can't put you anywhere because you distract everybody. And then I had no fear of consequences. And the problem there, so I'm aware that my call to action attitude that I have when something goes wrong comes from my father. When I was 8 or 9, I watched him, we were at a Hungry Jack's playground and I watched him jump a fence because a dog had been hit by a car on the main road at Maroochydore. And in my memory of that, the tires were still screeching. He was halfway over the fence. He was immediately go and help with the problem.
Yeah.
His younger life was not one of law-abiding, active in society behavior. He, same thing, do what you want, do whatever you want. So his role model towards what he taught me, and then my stepfather, when my mum married Tara, my stepfather, same thing. That was a guy that his version of justice wasn't the legal system. And so I didn't get I got a lot of my great personality traits from both of those guys and consider that into what I am as a man now. But there was a lot missing. And my first big role model outside of either of those two was a youth worker who wanted us to try a tightrope walking thing that was 2 foot off the ground, and watching how he encouraged me and a few other kids that we didn't want to be there. We didn't want to take part in that stuff. And it was actually part of a youth justice program. We didn't want to be there, but he genuinely wanted us to succeed.
Yes.
And he wanted us to do, and was so happy when we tried and failed. And having someone, if you can find a martial arts coach that berates you on a success that wasn't as good as it could have been. Not berates, maybe not the right kind of word, but comes hard and says, hey, you won that, but here's what needs to fix to get better. But picks you up, dusts you off and goes, hey, you lost that, but you're alive, you're fine. Failing at something is okay. What can we do to get you better? And it can't be coddling and going, no participation, Ruben, shit.
Nah.
You have to find a role model that is on that fine line of going, I want you to try to see if you fail or succeed.
Yes.
But just give it a go.
Yeah.
Who encourages that world champion mindset, who encourages that winner attitude, but encourages you to at least get past that hurdle of trying something. Because most kids these days are out being knobheads on the street because no one's told them no, but no one's told them that they could, that they can do something, that they can succeed at something, that it's okay to be shit at something, that it's okay to start and learn and get better at something. And if more kids had access, I don't even think it's lacking in martial arts skills. I think most instructors are like that. I think it's lacking as an affordable service. I think it's, and that's not on the cost of schools. We all have to charge fees. We all have to make a living doing what we do. It's on society to go, or it's on the government too, to be able to go, kids need a role model. Let's open this door to them so that they can find the correct role models. Because if you're a kid from a single parent housing commission home like I was these days, your role models are going to be junkies down the street who are just looking for the next kid that can run their stuff. Yeah. You're not getting that adult that's like, hey, you now wear my logo. Don't be a dickhead.
Yeah.
You need someone to tell you that stuff.
Yeah, which is the reason why we're seeing a lot of youth crime as well.
Massively.
Yeah, the crime's just shot up by 30% or something ridiculous. You know, I'm on Facebook Watch and I'm seeing CCTV footage of just break and entering kids, vandalism and all sorts of stuff. There's no structure, Harley. There's no masculine guidance for all of these young kids.
We pushed masculinity out, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't. But it was, social media has definitely done its work to make sure that masculinity shouldn't be near your children. But you have to learn from someone that every now and then you need to pull your head in or step out and act. Yeah, you need to learn, hey, this is your role in society. This is, and it's not cut and paste of even male and female. It's you need to partake in society and in the right way. And having a coach that goes to you, like speaks to your kids. We've got parents who will bring their kids in and the kids got to tell us why they were off school today. I got suspended. What did you get suspended for? I was in a fight. Okay. How did the fight start? How did you feel? What was the right idea? What was the wrong idea? Was that correct thing to do? Some of them we have to go, good job. Yeah. The school rules aren't in your favor, mate. You defended yourself. Yeah. Other times we have to go, mate, your mum's not letting you train today because you kicked your little sister. Yeah. Why'd you kick your little sister? She was saying mean things. You need to pull your head in, mate, because that's not how we treat women. That's not how we treat other people. And hearing that from your parents as a kid does nothing. Yeah. You can hear it till you're numb in the ears and it's just white noise in the background and you might not change. Yeah. But when you've got this coach who you think is this, even like a footy coach or a cricket coach, this coach that you look up to because they're great at the thing you're trying to learn. And when they're the one that goes, hey, mate, don't do that. Suddenly you go, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. Yeah. It's not even just about martial arts. It's sports in general or any activity where you can get a dominant adult figure in a point of authority that cares about guidance of kids. Yes. Yes. That's what we need more of.
I totally agree. Yeah. And I think that's missing a little bit today. Massively. Is kids are very conflicted about what it means to, be a man, especially we're talking about from the male experience. Because I think at the moment right now, there's this whole thing with, I guess, people are pushing this agenda of toxic masculinity. And, this is why Andrew Tate blew up, is because you're getting a lot of young boys that are very confused about what it means to be a man. But I think kids, they do need that guidance, don't they? They need someone that they can look up to, but then also pull them in line if they're mucking up. Yeah. And I read somewhere too that, especially in the home as well, the mother's love is more like the nurturing love and the father's love is more like the disciplinarian love. Yeah. And discipline is extremely important for kids. And I think this is why I encourage a lot of parents to try and get their kids involved in martial arts, but just anything in general where they require discipline and
Yeah.
responsibility and taking accountability for their actions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a boy who's nearly 2. I would love for him to have my resilience with none of the trauma.
Yeah.
I would love for him to be as willful as I am, maybe with a lot less of the ignorance at a young age.
Yeah.
And I've thought a lot about that. I've spoken to a lot of other dads and a lot of other mums and parents, and a few people had pointed out that I had one parent say, yeah, well, we've got you for that. And well, I can't be that for my kid. And I'm a coach, and my son will one day train under me.
Yeah.
But I want him to train under other people. I want him to see that it's not just how dad acts. It's not just how mum is. Here's how the good people in your life will behave.
Yep.
Here's how they carry themselves. Here's how they speak. Here's how they address someone who is above them in any authority figure. Here's how they address somebody who's below them. Here's how they treat people and compose themselves.
Yeah.
And you'll get that outside of your own. This is why young men used to go out and hunt with the rest of the tribe.
That's right.
Learn from the others. And I think that as we go into a more digital world is something that's lacking, because you don't get that on a screen.
No.
It's a slowly dwindling thing. So more people need to get their kids. Just any sport. Martial arts is going to be great for them, but any sport will help.
Yeah.
But we're always going to favor martial arts, of course.
100%. Yeah.
Because they're not just learning confidence. They're learning a skill that's going to help themselves. They're learning morals, I guess. And not even just I'll inherit your morals if you're my coach. I will see that you have your stance. Can I adapt to my stance and my morals based on who I am and what I've been through, and then hold myself accordingly?
Yeah.
Which is a big thing for kids.
Yeah. We didn't tie in your martial arts background, mate, but do you just want to quickly run through the black belts that you've acquired and when you first started training?
So the first style I did was Taekwondo. As a kid, I was playing footy up in the Caboolture region, and I was very small. I was very underdeveloped right up till I was an adult, 5'4" until I was 19, and a mouth of a much bigger person. And so playing footy, if something wasn't going my way, we're playing other country kids. There was more shoves and pushes and punches than there was footy. My uncle, actually, who was our coach as well, small town, multi-jobs, he went, hey, come and learn this. You need to learn how to throw some punches and kicks. And I did that, and he actually owned a video store as well. So he started going, here's a martial arts movie. And then suddenly I'm running around the house throwing fly kicks and stuff and wanting to do that. My stepdad, my mum and my stepdad met when I was about 10 or 11, around then. And he was a professional boxer and a hard man, a very, very strong-willed man. And he ran boxing out of the Mananjali Hall in Beaudesert.
Wow.
And it was $2 a lesson. I didn't even have to pay the $2. So I was pretty stoked to have free classes there. Did a heap of boxing, boxed there for about 7 years on and off. Again, I didn't compete. I had no intention of actively doing that. I did some kickboxing in high school under a fella that Geordie knows, but was one of those kids that I now have trouble teaching. So I was there and I was learning, and we were scrapping as kids. So I was always trying to learn more so that I could defend myself at school or at the park. Grew up in a rough part of town where arguing and punching on was what we did because we were bored. And so knowing how to do it was always really helpful. My brother and I fought heaps as kids. And so it was always, well, I'm going to learn more right now. And if I could sneak off and go to a boxing class, and my brother didn't get there because he had work that afternoon because he'd got a part-time job, then I had the advantage in my head. I moved out of bed as it was gone for about 5 years. And when I came back, Dan White, who's been a mate of mine for a long, long time, he said, hey, come down. I want to come train with me. You need somewhere to be, something to do. And he said, come down to Jissen. And I didn't know what that was. I had no idea. And he said, lay down. Oh, that's weird. And then he laid in what I now know is side control and put me in an Americana. And I went, what the fuck is that? What are you doing? Is he supposed to tap? I've never even heard of this. What do you mean tap? Like, okay, sure. And then I did that and then went, what else can you teach me? And then under him, Geordie, Jess, Daniel Lima, and all the other coaches that were involved with at the time and those who are still around, just the opportunity. I was turning up, I was doing Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai, and Geordie's like, why aren't you doing the modern martial arts class? I hadn't thought about it. He's like, well, get here an hour earlier and do that. And then I do that. And then I progress through the modern martial arts to get my black belt. So I got my black armband in Geordie's Muay Thai system first. Was the first thing that I'd ever actually achieved. I didn't do well at school. I got by. I had no career goals, but suddenly I achieved this black armband, and he went, hey, look at all the people above you. There's so much more. But while you're working on that, let's work on this stuff as well. And then I got my blue belt in Jits, and I just wanted more. So I got the Muay Thai, then I did the modern martial arts, and as part of the modern martial arts curriculum, I went back through Geordie as well and got my Taekwondo black belt. We did the Eskrima Kali single stick stuff. I got my black in that, which that taught me that if I'm ever in a fight, it's dangerous for both of us to have a stick. I hit myself a lot. I hit myself in the face a lot. We built the MMA curriculum, and I got to get my black belt in that curriculum, the sports MMA, while prepping for that MMA fight. And I only had the one MMA fight, but I got to do Kudo tournaments, state nationals for those. I got to do a bunch of other stuff in the process, and it got to a point where it wasn't, oh, I've got 2 black belts, oh, I've got 3 black belts. It's Geordie just gently encouraging and going, here's the next thing to learn. And then 2-3 years later, I have a black belt in that style. I'm up to 7 now.
Yeah, it's gross.
And I think 7 would be a great place to stop. But if there's something else on offer, I'll learn it.
Yeah.
And I may not be, like I had that one fight. I had no intention of becoming a world champion in anything or the greatest or turning pro or anything like that. I just wanted to know what MMA was like. And I got to do that and try it. Thankfully won it. But it was what can I experience? What can I do? How far can I take this stuff? And it's given me the opportunity. I went to the Isle of Man for work for my day job in IT.
Yeah.
And got to teach at a club over there because at the time the highest belt in that country was a purple belt.
Yeah.
Such a small jiu-jitsu community, and they went, hey, can you come and do a class? I jumped in with them, and then one night one of the guys goes, can you teach some stuff? Fantastic, I can do that.
Yeah.
And I got to coach for that. A different team on the other side of the world. It's really opened up not just the 7 black belts, which is a cool thing on paper. It makes me sound way more dangerous than I probably am. It's just been opportunities.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And you and I, we both graded in Kosen Judo. And Judo is a remarkable martial art. And that's what I really like about Geordie's system is where can you grade in multiple systems?
Yeah.
I can't really think of any other club.
And they're not hand-me-outs.
No.
No, the Jissen, so Kosen Judo, I would like that to be my 8th. It's still so many years away. That's so many years away.
Yeah.
And look, if it's then another 8, 9, 10 years before I get my 8th, cool.
Yeah.
I'll still be there doing it.
Yeah.
If I never get it, I'll still be there doing it. The Jissen Budo, the JBI grading, the 5th degree for that was a 4-hour intense grade. It's a lot.
It is. The
It's
Jissen
massive.
Budo is intense.
And that was the 7th. That was the most recent one, and the most recent black belt. And not only the most recent black belt, but the most recent Dan level grading as well. And it's refreshing because that's a sport where I get to see high level people that are good at this or good at that, and they're high level in it because of their striking ability is quite high, but their grappling knowledge is pretty good as well.
Yes.
Or their grappling ability is incredible, and they've been learning how to strike. And there's this new community opening up with a sport like that as well, of all these guys coming in and going, hey, this is what we've added to it. What do you think? And then the higher ups going, that doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Or, hey, that's cool. You'll fit right in with what we do.
Yeah.
And all of it is, can we test this and can we smack each other up while we do it.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking impressive, eh? Like when I'm down there, I'm in a whole room full of not just jiu-jitsu black belts, but in multiple styles. It's pretty amazing. It's an amazing
Yeah.
atmosphere.
Yeah, I get imposter syndrome quite heavily.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. And it doesn't help when I'll be teaching a martial arts class and Jessica Levesbane's sitting in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll there's been a few times where I will teach an example of something and I'll go, hey, you could do this, and then I'll say it, and then I'll see a head pop up. And thankfully, I'm always on the track of going, but here's why that's a bad idea. And then she goes, oh, okay, puts her head down.
Yeah.
And so I've got these people with such incredible knowledge that all have achieved so much more than I could ever dream of. And being one of them, even though like I'm not a competitor. I don't strive to win titles. I like self-defense. I like martial arts. I like kung fu movies. I'm in it because I love it. They're in it because they love it and they want to achieve things. But meeting so many people, and that imposter syndrome kicks in. But every now and then you'll do something or achieve something like a grading or save myself in an altercation where I go, oh, okay, no, it's right. Like, yes, I've got that imposter syndrome, but I've also pushed it. And now I get to see, oh no, I should be up here with these people.
Yeah, you're capable.
I'm not their level, but I know I'm capable, and this is why they trust me to do what I do.
Yeah, well, it's like I definitely felt the way when I got my jiu-jitsu black belt, and of all the black belts that I've acquired as well, jiu-jitsu was one of the only ones where I think it takes such a long time. And I was the same, mate. Like I think like I've just put a target on my back now.
Oh yeah.
Every purple, every blue belt and purple belt is just salivating. They think, fuck, I'm gonna and great, I put a target on my back. But it's good. It's a good experience.
Worst thing a student can tell me is that their goal is to tap me out. Like, now I got to be rough every time we roll. Now you've just made classes harder.
Yeah.
Because I'm not even going to give an inch.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'll roll people and I'll let them set stuff up and do things. But if they've said that, that's out the window. Jits was a funny one because I turned up to grade for my black belt and everything else. I turned up to grade to get my black belt. But there was 4 of us that got our black belts the day that I got mine for Jits, and we were on a grappling camp, and it had been ages since any of us had graded, and we were all testing for our 4th stripe brown belt, and we're hearing this, like, well, that's a long-winded speech about us getting a 4th stripe brown belt. We're thinking, well, I was thinking this is Geordie speaking a lot more because this is the last grading before black belt. And then one day he'll hand us a black belt. When he pulled the belts out, I was, I'm not ready for that, mate. That should go to someone else.
I was there the day that Geordie promoted you to jiu-jitsu black belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a great photo of, I think, 7 of us in the photo.
Yeah.
Geordie's at the front and we're like in a V, just like the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
It's a great photo. Yeah. But it was a good day, man.
Yeah. It was, it was and looking back, it made a lot of sense. Like, yeah, we're testing for a 4th stripe brown. And the things he was asking us, Geordie loves a little bit of a extra pressure. He's not afraid of crushing you with pressure to see if you'll shine. And knowing Pato is a good example. He'll know how far he can push you and get you where you feel like he's breaking you, but you're not, and he'll get you out the other side of it.
Yeah.
And we look back on that grading afterwards. We're like, oh, okay, this makes more sense now. Okay, the last 2 years makes more sense now. Of every time he rolled us, why was he making us do more things and putting us through more pressure, and then seeing how we respond, and then you put that black belt on. That target, you're looking around the room and everyone's looking, and these are my students, they're other people's students. They're one of the girls I teach was crying, and I was like, oh, well, don't look at her because I don't want to get tears in my eyes in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And then that next class, you turn up and you put that belt on and everyone's looking at you and are we rolling today? We are, but you're not going to like it.
Yeah.
And it does remarkable things for the skill, even the skill set, to go, okay, well, now I have to act like a black belt. Now I have to move like one. And we clearly did before we got that belt, but that was my favorite one to get so far. I think like
yeah.
the most recent one, the JBI, was cool. That was fun and that was impressive. But the Jits one made me feel the best because I started when we knew who all 8 or 9 of the black belts were in Australia.
That's right. There weren't too many around.
Yeah, they were famous people. Like if you were Daniel Lima was on the Gold Coast, and I remember the day that he knew my name. And that was a shining moment for me. And then I went, oh shit, he knows my name.
Yeah.
Now he knows who to blame when something goes wrong or I do something wrong.
Yeah.
To getting my black belt at the same time as 4 people and now being part of a massive community of people in the grappling industry, it's such a big transition that I never thought I'd be on this side of the fence. It's really cool to be over here.
It's amazing. Yeah, it really is, man. So next year, mate, what's happening with you? And if people are down, because you're teaching down in Jimboomba and sometimes Beaudesert, do you teach down there sometimes?
No, I get down there when I can. I'm at Jimboomba a couple of nights a week. I used to be there quite a lot more, but family life's taken a priority for a few nights a week now. Next year, I don't have anything on the cards yet. I'd like to do a few more gradings in a few styles. I know if Geordie hears that, he's going to jump on me because I'm overdue for a couple. I want to advance judo, definitely.
Yes.
I want to. I hope that we see a lot more students coming in the door. I hope that I get to meet a lot more people. The start of every year, I love January because we get all the people who come in because they finally decided that I'm going to go do it and I'm going to try it. And I'm hoping, and my goals next year are things that other people will achieve. So we got a bunch of good fighters at the moment on the roster, and a couple of up and comers as well who haven't yet had their first fight that I'd like to see. Whether it's next year for the first time fighters or the year after, I want to see like Declan's going pro for MMA. Jacob's won a few titles, lost a couple. In both Muay Thai and MMA. It's their big things that I'm looking forward to the most, and seeing what comes from them and being the guy that's holding the bucket or the guy that's strapping the hands or the guy that's holding pads. And
it's exciting, man. It really is. It's going to be fantastic to see Jacob and obviously Declan now. He's got his brown belt, and I've rolled with Declan before, and we've sparred together. He's phenomenal.
It hurts.
Yeah,
he's real pointy. He's a remarkable man. I wish more people could see his pre-fight ritual. And I won't talk about it because that's his ritual. But the way he carries himself before and after a fight, and then what he is in a fight, he's not a fighter. He's a martial artist. He's a warrior.
And he's humble too. He's very
incredibly.
He has that humility about him.
Well, he fought the 2 Shellhammer brothers, and that was, I think, pushed from a lot of people as a bit of a beef thing. Declan was happy, chatty with both of them after both fights, and polite, respectful. There's not a bad bone in that man's body except his knuckles.
100%.
Yeah.
Harley, mate, thanks for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having me.